Hi, my name is Dr. James Campbell. I've been an audiology specialist for over 20 years. If you're familiar with the horrible sounds of tinnitus like this one, or this one, or any of these at all, then you'll want to hear what I'm about to say. A few years ago, I took it upon myself to assemble a team of highly reputed neurologists and audiologists with the purpose of engineering a revolutionary approach to combat tinnitus at its very roots. Our ultimate goal was to bring to life a brand new, 100% effective solution capable of completely restoring auditory acuity and killing tinnitus from its source. More than just alleviating symptoms, our Nobel-worthy breakthrough would address the root cause of not only tinnitus, but mental fatigue, brain fog, and memory loss for good. After countless sleepless nights and even more failed attempts, we had finally discovered a never-before-seen formula that all tinnitus sufferers can successfully use, regardless of age and medical condition. Through rigorous research, we have identified a variety of natural compounds that had the potential to facilitate our body's natural capability to restore the neurologic connections that have been damaged by stressors over the years. This happens via a state-of-the-art biological process that restarts the regeneration of these neural circuits and repairs any damage they might have suffered. This mechanism, in essence, silences the phantom sounds of tinnitus, which are actually signs of an underlying neurological irregularity. Experts refer to this advanced procedure as neurological rewiring. This intervention effectively reprograms the brain's auditory processing centers to hit the kill switch on the phantom sounds, completely eliminating tinnitus. This unique process not only provides symptomatic relief from tinnitus and its side effects, but also fortifies the overall auditory and neurological system, fostering long-term auditory resilience and health. This state-of-the-art formula went through a series of clinical trials before being 100% complete, and over 60,000 subjects experienced complete tinnitus relief regardless of their age, of how long or severe their tinnitus was, or other medical condition. So stick with me, because in the next few minutes, I'll tell you the exact root cause of your tinnitus and hearing loss, the reason why it's happening to you, and how to reverse it in less than 30 days, using the 4-second Indian cocktail that will give you your life and your freedom back for less than what you'd pay for a cup of Java, and without using hearing aids, addictive and dangerous medicine, or even worse, surgical interventions. According to the National Institute on Deafness and Other Communication Disorders, over 25 million people in the US suffer from this terrible condition. That's 25 million honest people trapped in a hellish nightmare of constant ringing, buzzing and hushing, roaring inside their heads, depriving them from the simplest of joys, keeping them shackled to a life of dizziness, headache, anger, memory loss, and other related symptoms. But it all stops here. You'll no longer rely on the temporary solutions provided by the big pharma conglomerates, nor will you have to fill your doctor's pockets in exchange for dangerous chemicals that won't only be useless in the long run, but can even worsen and prolong your pain. Because unlike them, and unlike all the people that have been telling you that it's all in your head, giving you those weird looks like you're crazy and making you feel ashamed that you even have to deal with this, I've been exactly where you are, and trust me when I say this, it's not your fault. With all my expertise and years of practice in this field, tinnitus made me feel hopeless and question everything I had learned in my life, filling me with the shame and the anger of being powerless against something like this. But I'm truly grateful, because this process led me to the discovery that crowned over a decade of work, helped me get my life back, and made me feel human again. This clinically proven method brought peace and quiet to tens of thousands of other people, and it can do it for you too. Day by day, their tinnitus started to fade, their focus improved, their mind got clearer, and most importantly, in less than 30 days, all of them can now close their eyes at night, knowing that the ringing, hushing and buzzing will no longer keep them awake or be there when they wake up. Not only will you escape the shackles of this tinnitus nightmare, but this solution guarantees that you'll be protected from brain fog, cognitive decay and memory loss. Because this natural Indian formula repairs every area of your brain that's been affected ever since you first heard those hellish noises. You'll finally have the power to liberate yourself from tinnitus, live your life to the fullest without worrying it will ever come back again. And knowing that no matter what you do or where you are, your peace of mind is 100% safe. John, 53. My daily routine was ruled by these horrendous headaches. No matter how many pain pills I popped, that insistent buzzing sound in my ears wouldn't let me rest. Then a good friend suggested I try your method. Thank heavens I listened to his advice. Now, no headaches to speak of, and the buzzing is completely gone. I owe this piece to you. Olivia, 41. I lived with that high-pitched ringing in my ears for more than a decade. I'd accepted it as a constant, unwanted presence that was there to stay. But when I stumbled upon your method, it was like seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. Now the ringing is gone. The silence feels beautiful, and I can finally get a good night's sleep. The sense of tranquility I have now, it's just so wonderful. I can finally save a life again. Henry, 60. The relentless whistling in my ears felt like a life sentence, one I didn't want to accept. After seeing your video, something just clicked. I decided to give it a try, and lo and behold, the whistling was silenced in just a few days. It's almost unbelievable, but I'm living proof, thank you. As I said, I'm Dr. James Campbell. I'm 49 years old, and I've been an audiologist for the better part of the last 20 years. I dedicated most of my time to researching tinnitus, and now I operate alongside my team in my own private laboratory in San Francisco. My story began 7 years ago, and to this day, it feels embarrassing to tell it, especially since it's the field I'd been active in for so long. It all started slow, when I was in my office, with a short but loud ringing in my left ear. It went on for only a few seconds, but the dizziness that came along with it was so strong, I had to cancel my appointments for the rest of the day. I knew this happens to a lot of people, so I believed in what I was taught in med school, and blamed it on the fact that I had used my earphones too much that day. But the more time passed, the more often I started experiencing the noises. The faint ringing became a loud roar in both of my ears, and soon I found myself unable to sleep, work, or even eat properly without hearing those hellish noises inside my head. I started worrying about what would happen if it wouldn't stop. I couldn't maintain my focus. I was always irritable and anxious, and the headaches, my own wife thought I was going insane. I knew that if this went on, it would affect my relationship with my friends and family even more than it already had. So I went to one of my more experienced colleagues to see if they could help me identify the source of this problem. First, I thought it was just an ear infection or something that could be easily medicated, so I took some pills and hoped for the best. But after 2 weeks of antibiotics and anti-inflammatories, I realized that I wasn't dealing with something like that at all. When I got to my friend's office, he ran the required tests and told me that my deepest fears came true. I'm sorry, James, but it's most likely tinnitus, and you of all people know there's no cure for that. Try to relax, meditate, use some sound therapy, and, if you're lucky, it will go away in a few months. The realization came to me. Was that what it felt like being on the other side of the desk? Was that how all my patients felt when I told them their chances of living a peaceful life were based purely on luck? The best I can do for you is prescribe you some anti-stress pills. Maybe take some melatonin as well. It's probably the closest to tinnitus medicine as we'll ever get. For the span of 2 months, I kept taking pills. different types of tea, meditating, even going to some yoga classes and acupuncture sessions. Basically trying every alternative treatment under the sun, hoping it would at least alleviate some of the symptoms. But just when I thought it would get better, that the sound started fading and life would become as it was. The very next morning, it would come back stronger and louder than before, leaving me angry and hopeless, unable to enjoy even the smallest thing in my day. The worst part was that the noise didn't come alone. Not only could I hear several types of noises all at once, but I felt like my brain was starting to rot. I kept forgetting even the important things, such as my wife and my anniversary or our son's birthday. My work life wasn't much better either. I started confusing clients, forgetting what they said to me 2 minutes before, and one time I yelled at one of them to turn their phone off when it wasn't even ringing. I'd go into bed every day crying and praying that one day the voices would stop, or by some miracle a magic spell would fall into my hands and would relieve me from the pain and suffering I was going through. Little did I know back then the worst was yet to come. One day I was in the living room with my wife and son, and I could literally hear the roar of my blood rushing through my veins, accompanied by the unstoppable ringing. The last straw for me was when my son accidentally dropped his plate. The crushing sound made my tinnitus so much worse. In that moment, and I couldn't control my anger, I started screaming at him, and my wife had to intervene, giving me an ultimatum. "That's it. If you can't control yourself, I'm taking William and we're leaving you. Call me when you're not insane anymore." Those words came at me like a wrecking ball. That night I stayed up late, not only because of the noises, but also because I knew I had two options at that point. Option one was to let tinnitus rule over my life, accept my fate lied in the hands of the same medical system I was part of, and that sooner rather than later, someone would come up with something that would help me get over this. But that option would have meant losing my family, my job, my friends, and everything I held dear. The second option was to take matters into my own hands, do whatever I could, and pour my soul into finding something that would help me overcome my condition for good by myself. Even though it sounded impossible, I knew that was my one and only option if I really wanted to keep everything I hold dear close to me. And so, in the morning, my search began. I decided to take it step by step, by rereading all my notes from med school and going over everything I had learned in my professional life. All those notes and theories about the origin of tinnitus made me scoff and think what a fool I've been to think that there's nothing more to this condition than what we've been taught. Truth is, nobody actually knew what caused tinnitus. Some experts said it's caused by loud sounds, earwax buildup, ear infections. All of these suppositions were just their way of saying, we don't know the root cause of this, and we don't really care. The only thing I could know for sure, by rule of elimination, was that tinnitus definitely had something to do with the brain, but I couldn't exactly put my finger on it. However, buried under all those files and tabs open on my laptop, I came across something that looked like it would be a good start to my journey. It was a study from 2011, during which the scientists discovered a correlation between tinnitus and low thiamine, a substance produced in the brain, levels in mice. Could it possibly be that I was experiencing this because of my brain's incapacity to produce enough thiamine? I had to know, so I messaged several people who took part in this study and asked them if we could talk about their findings. Days went by and none of them had answered me, no matter how I tried to connect with them. I was starting to lose hope, when one day I received a mysterious email. It was from a certain Dr. Singh, who told me that he wanted to see me about my condition, but only under one condition, that I fly to India to his private office. While it seemed a weird and far-fetched request, I was willing to go the distance to make the noise stop, but not before researching Dr. Singh's background. Apparently, Dr. Singh was a highly reputed neurologist both in India and the US, having graduated magna cum laude from an Ivy League college. He published several studies in the field of neurology, which were widely recognized for their innovative insights and significant contributions to understanding of complex neurological conditions. During the last 5 years of his career, he decided to take a sabbatical and retreated to his home country in order to help the people in his town, giving back to the community. His credentials checked out, so I booked a flight and went to the address mentioned in his email. When I got to his office, I started explaining to him what I was going through and told him about my research regarding the root cause of tinnitus. He stopped me and said, "Dr. Campbell, you're not entirely wrong. You're just missing the most important 1%. What he told me then, even now when I know that it's 100% true, it still feels unbelievable." Dr. Singh's discovery was more than any other audiologist or neurologist could even imagine. He had proven that tinnitus wasn't just something that only affected the ears, but the brain as well, and in a way none of them had ever thought of. Do you remember what I said about thiamine HCl? Well, as it turned out, tinnitus in itself isn't a disease, but rather a symptom of something more threatening happening in our brains, even as we speak. You see, when we hear those ringing noises, those phantom sounds as they're often called, it's not necessarily the case that your ears aren't working properly, but rather it's our brain sending them an alarm that something is wrong with it. That's why many times tinnitus comes with side effects such as dizziness, loss of focus, and headache. He came across this discovery while he was working on the thiamine HCl study, and he made a connection between the existence of tinnitus and the lack of proper thiamine levels in the brain. Dr. Singh continued to explain what thiamine HCl actually is and how its deficiency can lead to tinnitus. You see, thiamine, also known as vitamin B1, plays an essential role in energy production and nerve function. Imagine thiamine as the spark plug in your brain's energy system. Its main job is to support the metabolic processes that energize brain cells and help them function optimally. Without adequate thiamine, the brain cannot efficiently produce energy, leading to neural stress. But here's the catch. If there's not enough thiamine in our system, the brain cells can't maintain their balance. Over time, this deficiency creates a state of chaos in the brain, causing neurons to fire off signals uncontrollably. This disruption, Dr. Singh explained, is what we perceive as tinnitus. Dr. Singh likened the constant ringing, buzzing, or whooshing sounds of tinnitus to an alarm bell ringing in our ears. The lack of thiamine is essentially a stressor on our brain, and the brain, in response, sends off this alarm signal in an area where we're sure to notice it, our ears. It's the brain's cry for help, signaling that something isn't right. Yet, the production of energy in brain cells is affected by various factors. Stress, poor nutrition, lack of sleep, and even certain medications can reduce thiamine levels. These stressors in our lives act as roadblocks, preventing the brain from performing its best, thus perpetuating the cycle of tinnitus. Just think of how these past few years have been, all the crises we've all lived through, and you'll see why there's been a large spike in the number of tinnitus cases. As he said, these stressors can be anything. So even if you can't really think of a triggering moment for your tinnitus, they can range from overworking, stress, lack of sleep, loud sounds, and other health problems. As most doctors have said at one time or another, anything can trigger tinnitus. That's why it's never the patient's fault. Once your body stops producing as much energy from thiamine as it's supposed to, it can never recover by itself, and that can happen to anyone at any point in time. Dr. Singh told me that while he was working on the study, he developed tinnitus as well due to stress and environmental conditions, but he managed to solve it in less than a month using a formula he derived from the information he got in the study he was working on, along with the secret ingredient he knew about from his home country. As I stood there in awe listening to Dr. Singh's explanation, two questions popped into my head. One, how did he solve the thiamine deficiency in his brain? And two, Why didn't he go public with his discovery? He took a pause and told me that these questions link back to Big Pharma. When they heard that a group of scientists had actually discovered something that could end the tinnitus problem, they demanded their research funding be cut off, stopping the results from ever reaching the market as a viable product. They then contacted each and every scientist who was part of that team, threatening their jobs so that they'd be forever scared to talk about this. Of course, Big Pharma would want to keep this breakthrough quiet, so they could continue filling their greedy pockets with our hard-earned money. Sadly, that's a truth I always faced as a doctor myself. That's why Dr. Singh was forced to return to his country, where they couldn't reach him, and he could help his peers without the threat of Big Pharma hanging over his head. Dr. Singh then proceeded to show me the formula for his tinnitus-stopping breakthrough, which he had written down in his carefully guarded secret notebook, in case anything happened to him. As he handed me this confidential notebook, filled with a lifetime of research and observations, I flipped through the pages, and my attention was drawn to the meticulously detailed descriptions of various substances, each with precise quantities. I realized that this wasn't just a mere list, it was a roadmap to restoring auditory balance, leading to complete neurological rewiring. Every substance was significant, its quantity pivotal. The formula was designed in such a way that each ingredient complemented and multiplied the effects of the others, contributing to the overall effectiveness. It was clear that Dr. Singh understood the profound importance of quality and the exact proportions of these ingredients. Any deviation from these amounts would render it virtually useless. But the formula didn't just stop at alleviating tinnitus. As I read further, I discovered its far-reaching cognitive benefits too. When followed correctly, this solution could clear mental fog, boost memory, and enhance overall cognitive function while also addressing hearing loss. Dr. Singh's formula wasn't just a tinnitus solution, it was a full-scale brain and auditory health revolution. The cornerstone of this formula was vitamin B1, thiamine HCl, which plays a vital role in nerve function and energy production in the brain. Dr. Singh understood that by restoring thiamine levels, the brain could regain its strength to process auditory signals clearly, helping eliminate the noise associated with tinnitus. Vitamin B6 was also a crucial addition. This nutrient supports neurotransmitter synthesis, which is essential for maintaining brain stability and reducing the stress that often accompanies tinnitus. Dr. Singh emphasized that vitamin B6 plays a key role in keeping our brain chemistry balanced and our energy levels up. To complement these, vitamin B12, methylcobalamin, was included for its neuroprotective effects. Vitamin B12 is essential for cognitive function and maintaining nerve health. By supporting overall neural integrity, it plays a crucial role in helping the brain stay resilient against stresses that might otherwise worsen tinnitus symptoms. Next was the proprietary blend. Within this blend, caffeine from green coffee bean acted as a gentle stimulant, keeping the brain alert and promoting neural activity to support cognitive clarity. While some might view caffeine as a stimulant alone, in the right doses, it helps maintain the alertness required to retrain the brain's focus away from phantom sounds. L-tyrosine, an amino acid known for its ability to support mental performance under stress, was also a key part of Dr. Singh's formula. It bolstered neurotransmitter production, helping to create a state of mental clarity and calm in the brain, thereby lessening the effects of tinnitus. Thiacrin and theobromine further enhanced mental endurance and focus. Thiacrin helps improve mood and reduce fatigue, while theobromine, known for its mild stimulating effects, is found in cocoa and promotes relaxation in the brain while enhancing focus. The blend also included Bacopa monnieri, an adaptogenic herb revered in traditional medicine for its neuroprotective and cognitive-enhancing properties. Bacopa's ability to reduce anxiety and support memory made it a vital addition, as it allowed the brain to adapt to stress more efficiently, reducing tinnitus symptoms. Rhodiola rosea root, another adaptogen, was instrumental in increasing resistance to stress. Its benefits on cognitive health, mood, and mental fatigue were essential in keeping the brain resilient under pressure, providing a soothing effect that helped calm the neural chaos behind tinnitus. Finally, Huperzia serrata extract, standardized to 1% huperzine A, served as a potent neuroprotectant, improving mental clarity, memory, and focus. Huperzine A supports acetylcholine levels, which are essential for communication between nerve cells, thus enhancing the brain's cognitive functionality and reinforcing auditory clarity. Dr. Singh's formula, with these ingredients in exact quantities, harmoniously worked together to help the brain regain balance, reduce auditory misfires, and ease tinnitus symptoms. It wasn't just about adding these compounds, it was about creating the perfect conditions in the brain to rebuild its strength, find peace, and eliminate the persistent ringing. After I finished reading, he told me the following words. "Dr. Campbell, your tinnitus isn't the only reason why I called you here. I waited here in India, perfecting my easy-to-use Indian solution, hoping that someone I could trust would come my way so he could achieve my dream and release this for the people around the world. I don't have all the facilities to do that here, nor can I return to the US, but I know that if I entrust this to you, you'll be able to save so many people from the shackles of this terrible condition. Please continue my legacy and help as many people as you can." I knew how important that task was to both of us, so I decided that the next day I'd fly back to the US and use all of my closest connections to create this formula under the highest secrecy. Using some tips Dr. Singh gave me, we managed to make contact with a few top-notch suppliers, with Singh himself providing some of the ingredients from his home country. You wouldn't believe how hard it was to get in touch with people who actually grew their ingredients pure and in natural conditions. It took the team I assembled 3 months to get the first batch ready for testing. 3 hellish months during which I couldn't wait for it to be finished so I could test it myself and see if it could truly rid me of tinnitus. In the end, it all paid off. I had the only clinically proven formula that would put a stop to my tinnitus and hearing problems, giving me peace and happiness, silence and joy of life back. At the beginning of the study, Dr. Singh advised us to keep this formula in the form of a capsule, since it would be easier and faster for the body to absorb the substance it so desperately needs. And because that was the initial form he tested it in and proved to be most effective between solid and liquid shape. So on the first day, I took the first capsule with a glass of water and hoped that it would finally be the solution to work. Of course, it couldn't happen so fast, so I did it for a few more days. And on the 4th day, I could finally feel it happening. My stress and anxiety levels were visibly starting to lower, and the ringing and buzzing in my ears wasn't as strong as it used to be. Dr. Singh left in his notebook a recovery plan, where he wrote about each stage in his rehabilitation journey, and I kept comparing what I experienced to his notes. It was a 100% match. I was experiencing what was called the assimilation phase, where all the nutrients start to really get to the brain and help it restart the thiamine generation process. The better your brain starts to function, the softer the alarm signals it sends, and the more elated you feel. In the second phase, your hearing starts to get better, and the phantom sounds are becoming less and less pronounced, since the ingredients have already boosted your thiamine generation power and restored your brain to its normal capacity. You'll even be able to hear a cricket from almost a mile away with your new enhanced hearing and focusing powers. Then, after a few more days, your memory will be better, the brain fog will disappear, your cognitive functions will be boosted, and your head will become clearer. That's the sign your brain is now working at max capacity, and it will be protected against stressors for years to come. By the end of the 30-day period, in the 4th and final phase of this process, when your brain no longer has the need to send those signals, your tinnitus will completely recede, and your life will now be as happy as the day you lost it. The pace this formula was working at, as it restored my brain, left me in total awe. In less than a month, I was able to get rid of the constant buzzing in my ears. My hearing was completely restored, my mood was better, my sleep schedule was back to normal, and my focus and energy skyrocketed. But I kept taking the capsules each day until the end of the trial period. And I'm glad I did, because my memory got better as well. My thinking process got faster and more accurate, and to be honest, I felt happier than ever. After these successful first results, my team and I knew that we needed to do a proper clinical trial test on other people, just to be 100% sure. So we gathered up 73 tinnitus sufferers of all ages and medical conditions, and instructed them to use the formula exactly according to Dr. Singh's methods. 1 capsule per day, with a big glass of water. We waited and waited for 30 days, and when their results came back, we were shocked. Each and every one of them reported that their tinnitus was completely gone. Not to mention, they all told us the other positive effects were no joke either. Because of us, these 73 people were no longer stressed and could finally get the shut-eye they needed. They were now protected against brain fog and cognitive decay. Their hearing got a lot better, and they could now experience life to the fullest. That was the moment when we decided to go fully public with this formula, because everyone deserved a chance to restore their hearing and not just be lied to their face. We called it Tinnicalm. Tinnicalm is the only 100% natural formula that can help your brain achieve neurological rewiring, turn its engines up to full power, and shut off the alarm signals it sends to your ears in the form of tinnitus. No big pharma thugs could stop us, even though they tried to pay us off or delay the launch of this incredible solution. All we wanted was to help as many people as we could experience the positive effects 60,000 others already did. The only question you're probably asking right now is, how do I get my hands on this unique formula? Well, as I said before, getting our hands on the ingredients was extremely hard. Even Dr. Singh's contacts can't produce the native ingredients in large quantities, since it would mean compromising on their quality, which is something we swore we'd never do. That means it takes around 6 months to produce just 1 batch of Tinnicalm, and most of it is already pre-ordered by many people that have already tried our formula with the greatest success. That's why our stocks are depleting at a very fast pace. Plus, Big Pharma is fighting us with all they have, sending their lawyers like hounds to try and find a loophole to stop us from even showing you this. We've kept them away until now, but we don't know what else they have up their sleeves. But to thank you for lasting this far into this video, my team and I are going to offer you the exclusive opportunity to get your fair share of Tinnicalm right now. Oh, and one more thing. To achieve the best results our formula has to offer, I highly advise you to take 1 capsule per day, just like I explained earlier in this presentation. Results will start coming as early as the end of the first week, and by the end of this program, the top quality, high purity ingredients in Tinnicalm will have already made their extraordinary effects on your brain and hearing. Unlike those dangerous chemicals your doctors are prescribing you, these compounds work towards saving your body, not making it addicted to them. However, if you truly wish to experience more of this program, we recommend you take Tinnicalm for a period of 3 months, the equivalent of 3 bottles. This won't only relieve you of tinnitus, but will improve your hearing, reduce stress levels, and improve overall cognitive function. But there's still something else at play. Despite the fact that this works for all the people out there, I can't know your medical background. Results can also depend on the amount of stressors you're regularly exposed to, your age, or how bad the thiamine deficit is. And it's impossible to estimate the real state of your brain right now, even with tests. Now, even in our test runs, the best reports came in from people who used our formula regularly for a full 6 months. On top of getting rid of tinnitus, improving their hearing and cognitive functions, and reducing stress levels, there's something else that happened to them. Their minds were sharper, their IQ slightly increased, they got rid of the brain fog and the sense of dizziness, and they had more overall mental energy. Not to mention the deep, calm sleep they got after following this. So, to be 100% sure you get the maximum benefits from this solution, we strongly recommend securing the 6-month package of Tinnicalm. This will be more than enough to help you achieve the happy life you always wanted. Each and every one of our users came back to us saying how much this formula has helped them. These are just a few of the success stories we received on our mail since we went public. Robert K., 63, Ohio. I used to struggle to keep up with conversations, especially when there was any sort of background noise. Plus, I had this annoying ringing in my ears that drove me nuts. After taking Tinnicalm, I feel like a new man. No more asking people to repeat themselves, and the ringing is gone. My memory has also seen a huge improvement. I feel like I'm in my 30s again. Janet S., 70, California. Tinnicalm was a game changer for me. I used to feel so out of touch because of my failing hearing, not to mention the consistent hum in my ears that made me lose sleep. Ever since I started using Tinnicalm, not only can I hear clearly, but the hum in my ears has disappeared. My mind also feels much sharper and clearer. I honestly couldn't be happier. Samuel D., 55, Georgia. It's tough when you're constantly missing parts of conversations and constantly hearing a faint whistling sound. But since I discovered Tinnicalm, my life has dramatically improved. My hearing is better, the tinnitus is gone, and my cognitive abilities have significantly improved. I feel more alert and focused. I can't thank you and Dr. Singh enough for this transformation. I've practiced 20 years in this field, and let me tell you one thing. Nothing else can even compare to Tinnicalm. Of course, you can always do what I so sheepishly did and blindly follow what Big Pharma tells you. Buy your prescribed meds and hope that things eventually get better. But here I am in front of you, asking you to give the other option a chance. The option that will relieve you of your tinnitus without making you spend all of your life savings or giving you who knows what dangerous side effects. The one that doesn't waste your time with alternative healing methods like teas, meditation or yoga that only help you for a short time and are simply not good enough to solve your serious conditions in the long run. Why waste a single dime on these options when you have the only method you need right here? With Tinnicalm, you'll get rid of your tinnitus in just a couple short weeks, and you'll be 100% assured that you're protected for years to come. Now, before I even started developing the formula, Dr. Singh and I talked about the costs of this. Only to break even with the production and shipping, we were supposed to put the price of this at $349 per bottle. After all, considering the high-quality ingredients we're using for this, and the fact that it's the only thing out there that addresses the real root cause of tinnitus, you can see why. That's why we both agreed to fund this from our own pockets for as long as we could, just so we can help as many people get better. We even had the offer to cross Dr. Singh and sell this to Big Pharma for a fat 7-digit check that would have set us for life. But we stood our ground and refused, because we know how you feel. I myself wish I had found a solution just like Tinnicalm before I was on the verge of losing my family and my job, but that's thankfully behind me now. Right now, all I can and will do is give you the chance to get this incredible formula in as many homes as possible before our supply runs out. Even if it means that we'll lose money on every purchase, just for those who lasted this far into the video, we talked it through and decided to set the price for a 30-day supply of Tinnicalm for as low as $69. Hopefully that will make it easy enough for all the tinnitus sufferers who are watching this right now to get their hands on the only formula that will rid them of their condition and improve their hearing without costing an arm and a leg. And to show you how much we want you to experience the full potential of this ritual, we'll make you a once-in-a-lifetime offer. Should you decide to opt for the 6-month plan of this natural formula, The price will come down to a mere $49 per bottle, for a total of $294 for the whole package, including free shipping. This exclusive opportunity is only available today while the stock lasts. And if you're somehow still not convinced this package is for you, then let me tell you something. Just today, should you decide to opt for the long-term packages of Tinnicalm and choose the option that will provide long-term top-tier benefits, we'll offer you 2 exclusive ebooks valued at $150, completely free of charge. These 2 complimentary guides' sole purpose is to help you throughout your quest of ridding yourself of tinnitus. The first ebook is something that I hand-picked myself, something that I found really useful during my experience with tinnitus, and it's a comprehensive handbook on how to manage its symptoms from the safety of your own home. What superfoods you should always keep in your kitchen, and how they can dampen the sounds. And many other useful tips and tricks that I personally fact-checked and found to be effective in helping me manage my symptoms during my tinnitus battle. The second guide comprises ideas and easy-to-apply tricks to help you gracefully overcome any challenges life might throw at you, and a morning ritual designed to permanently alleviate anxiety triggers. All this, plus insights on how to boost productivity, mental fortitude, and evolve into the best version of yourself, only if you choose the long-term plans of Tinnicalm. Add the free shipping to this equation, and you'll get your perfect tinnitus-ridding formula in no time. That's how certain we are that you'll appreciate what our solution has to offer, the peace of mind you always wanted and deserved, with no effort at all. Secure your package in advance, and I promise you, tinnitus will become a thing of the past. Your hearing will get better, and the neurological reset process will turn you into a calmer, sharper, and happier human in no time. But I'm warning you, once the supply runs out, you'll have to wait up to 6 months for another batch to come in, and that's exactly why the 6-month plan is your best bet to get rid of tinnitus and the other conditions that come with your brain malfunction. Think about how thankful you'll be 10, 20, even 30 years down the line when your hearing is better than everyone's, and tinnitus is only a distant memory for you. Of course, this can all be achieved with a single bottle of Tinnicalm, and 3 bottles will definitely boost your mental state and mood. But what the 6-month package does is protect your whole cognitive system for the long run, shielding it against memory loss, amnesia, brain fog, and any similar conditions. Just imagine being 60, 70, or 80 years old, and being one of those people who remember every single detail about their childhood and early life without a struggle. Take a look at the packages we've prepared for you below and see which one suits your needs the best. After you press the Add to Cart button, you will be redirected to a safe checkout page where you can enter your payment details and finish your order. Then all you'll have to do is be patient, and we'll send your Tinnicalm package right to your doorstep. Remember, this may be your last chance towards securing your Tinnicalm package before stock runs out. But no matter what, you're still shielded by our ironclad 60-day, 100% effective, or you get your money back guarantee. This way you can focus on observing the effects of this formula and seeing how easy it is to get your life back on track. You'll no longer feel stressed or anxious. Your tinnitus will slowly recede, your hearing will get better, and you'll finally be able to sleep without a care in the world, just like 60,000 others have done before you. But if you decide to change your mind, and if you feel this natural solution isn't for you, then just write us an email and we'll buy it back from you. No hassle, no red tape, no questions, nothing. Just click the button below and start your recovery journey today. I guarantee that years down the line you'll realize it's the best decision you made. Because you're here on this page, your package is reserved, but I advise you to hurry. There are plenty of people queuing up to take advantage of this once-in-a-lifetime offer. Truth is, we might have to up the price to $179 per bottle soon, maybe even higher, since the price of the ingredients went up considerably in the past year. There are plenty of people out there who still haven't tried this solution for the simple reason that it's cheaper than it should be. That may sound crazy, but they simply believe that it can't be as good as I said it would be, just because it doesn't cost an arm and a leg like they're used to. But unlike Big Pharma, my only wish is to help as many people as possible before the greedy corporations shut us down for good. So please, help yourself and take my offer while it's still available. Click the order button below, and I'll personally make sure your Tinnicalm package is safely delivered to your door ASAP. Right now, the decision is yours. You can either choose to forget you saw this presentation completely and continue your life as it is, hoping that time will heal your tinnitus too. But think about this. Are you willing to take that risk? Will you choose potentially dangerous and addictive chemicals rather than take the chance that's right in front of you? Take your life into your own hands today with Tinnicalm, the crown jewel of years of thorough research, and you're going to thank yourself for years to come. So go ahead and choose your package below right now. This has been Dr. James Campbell signing off.